Hello, and welcome to today's episode of 5 Reasons Why You Shouldn't Harm Your Loved Ones While in Quarantine. I'm just trying to figure out the perfect angle for my phone so I can rest it and give you all of my attention. I should tell you that we're having this major hailstorm right now, and my kids are out running. So at any moment, they may blast through the post here and freaking out that they're snowing and hailing and raining during their run. So I apologize in advance, but as you all know, we are all human and we are all trying to live our lives and work and do all of that from home. I do want to show you something cheery before we start today. These, when you go to the market and you're all quarantined and everything, so look at these roses, aren't they cool? Well, those were just from Kroger, the roses and the tulips, and I just thought they were amazingly beautiful and happy, so I wanted to share them with all of you today. So here we are, April 9th, 2020, week 2 of the governor's stay home, stay safe order, and week 3 since schools were closed and we felt this might be coming. Today at 3 o'clock, the governor will make her official announcement of the extension of the stay home, stay safe order. There's no guesses out there, which is surprising because most of the news sources speculate and try to figure out what's going to happen. So the 3 o'clock, she will be live doing a press conference about that. As of today, there are 20,346 cases of COVID-19. That's up 1,376 from yesterday. 959 deaths. That's up 114 from yesterday. Again, these numbers are shocking and staggering. And in a minute, I really want to talk to you about the discrepancies between the numbers and about the virus and how to evaluate news sources and kind of who to trust. Because before I give you information, I got to tell you, I have fact-checked. And some news sources are more biased than others, and some individuals have other agendas other than just giving you information. So I want to make sure that you have a little bit of knowledge. Obviously, wasn't a stats major and I didn't study all that stuff all that much, but there is some, step 1 or 101 kind of knowledge that I will share with you that might help you keep this real. The reason I always give you that information and those numbers each day is because I think it's really important for us to understand the risk. We are still on the upslope and we are not at the apex yet. If you watch Governor Whitmer in her morning coronavirus briefing, you will notice she always has Dr. Khaldun with her. She always gives sort of her governor view, and then Dr. Khaldun gives us science. Science, numbers, experiments, petri dishes, what's really happening. That's really important. When you get information from the federal government, usually delivered by President Trump, you are getting information that says that Michigan is at the apex right this second, and that this week and next week are going to be our worst weeks, and then we're going to be great, and we're going to be open, and we're going to save the economy. This is the problem with you must keep in mind the source of information and any motivations they have. Governor Whitmer is giving us the facts to protect Michiganders. Governor Whitmer is giving us information and science that is coming from Michigan hospitals and from Michigan science and studying our cases with our population. So when we hear the federal statistics and the federal predictions of when the apex will be, that is coming from more of a national database, looking at other states and trying to find some sort of formula to figure out the who, what, when, and where of all of this. As I mentioned earlier, my dogs and my kids were just caught in a hailstorm, and they would be coming home, and that's what you hear in the background. They've arrived. So some other information that when we're looking at Michigan specifically, there's a huge divergence between the number of cases in southeastern Michigan and the rest of the state. Primarily, we're seeing in Wayne County alone, of our 20,000 plus cases, 9,600 of them were in Wayne County, where you have counties in the Upper Peninsula that have zero, not even one. So that is another statistic that locally our information is more reliable because we're looking at what is happening right here, right now. The other things that are going on is that yesterday the legislature approved 23 days as an extension of the state's emergency declaration. And in doing that, again, looking at statistics, looking at what's going on, part of what was so controversial, as you know, about the legislature meeting is that you were bringing people from all over the state, some from people who have counties with no cases, and putting them in a room with people in places where it's a wildfire. And now, because of what they did, they will be back and doing it again in probably 23 days. So the other thing that I wanted to bring up about the statistics is that Michigan has been following this not only by county, but also by the source, where it's coming from, where did they pick up the virus from, on Michigan.gov, as well as on some of the news stations. Click on Detroit or WXYZ.com. You will see the various maps. They're kind of like heat maps of where the virus is. And if you click on them, you'll see exactly where it was from. Was it from a Walmart? Was it from a Costco? Was it from... and who these kind of patient zeros were at each of these locations. Was it a gas station? Was it the grocery? So that's all really important to pay attention to. They have figured out that the age range in Michigan for people who have died is between 20 and 107. So again, this virus has no characteristics that we can rely upon. This is Megan, everyone. I thought I would interview her on one of these, but she seems busy today. And she did just get caught in a hailstorm. So, other thing that has happened as our legislator in Washington, Mr. Peters, has asked or submitted a bill to be approved where our workers, essential workers, being postal workers, pharmacists, people who absolutely cannot work at home, they would be awarded an additional $13 per hour as hazard pay. It's really an incredible gesture, and we'll stay tuned to see what's going to happen with that. Other things that I wanted to talk about, a lot of people are doing spring cleaning right now. Or just cleaning because they don't have anything else to do. Cleaning their garages, whatever. One of the things that is desperately needed, especially during times of crisis, are suitcases. If you have suitcases, tote bags, duffel bags that you're planning on getting rid of, please save them. As soon as this is over, we'll be collecting them at our office, and we will deliver them to children who are in foster care or families that are in shelters, so that they have a way to move their belongings, hopefully to a more permanent home. Often when kids are in foster care, they're taken from their parents. It could be right from school. It could be from a hospital. They don't get to go home and get their favorite stuff. So they also often have new schools. Everything in their life turns upside down. So if we can at least provide them a vehicle to transport the small belongings that they have with them, or that they gain while they're in foster care, or while they are in the hospital, if that is the case, while they're in shelters or residential placement, that's really awesome. So don't throw them away, save them, stay tuned. When this is over, we're going to collect them all at our office and distribute them to the appropriate channels. The other thing that we need to save and be cognizant of during our cleaning are all the travel-sized toiletries, whether you bought them or stole them from a hotel or whatever it was. Those are really valuable assets to people in shelters, both adults and children, as well as, for example, if someone who's abused is running, they're certainly not grabbing their shampoo. And obviously soap is a very valuable commodity these days, and it's certainly valuable to those people as well. Other updates, I mentioned yesterday about the Wayne County inmate who was infected, and the Wayne County Jail released him, put him on a bus, and sent him home. He actually was in the jail for drunk driving, and he had asked for medical care over and over again, did not receive it, and he actually died as soon as he got home. And that, you listen to that, and when we talk about the reasons that you shouldn't harm your loved ones during this time, and you should obey the stay-at-home order, that's why. Because the situation, if you are arrested, if you are ticketed, if you do have to pay the $500 or the $1,000 fine, there's a lot of collateral issues that come from that. One of them is what's going on in our jails and prisons. The second one is it's probably money you can't afford to give to your city or township or county right now, or the state. And thirdly, we're never going to get rid of this if we don't follow the rules. I do want to give one shout out. My friend Carrie is on, and Carrie's a nurse, and so I just want to say thank you to Carrie for doing all that you're doing, and hope that you're staying safe. And thanks for joining us today. Other things that are going on, and as I always say, just shoot your questions. And the would be that there are new, Secretary DeVos is encouraging the Education Department to issue new Title IX regulations. It's kind of crazy when there's no one on campus that she's proposing these revised policies, but it basically would make them conform with the new Supreme Court standards of sex discrimination. So, as you all know, I'm not a gigantic fan of hers, but I will applaud her for this effort. It would give it would impose that any school that receives federal funds must have a sexual discrimination policy in place. Title IX must be enforced. And it goes through basically that there's just more due process for the student who is accused and a more fair hearing procedure. And so, good for her for spending some of her time looking at a really pretty unjust process that exists within our colleges and universities. Lastly, Governor Whitmer issued Executive Order 2020-41, which deals with electronic signatures and remote notarization, witnessing and visitation during the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of people are worried right now, and as part of the worry, they are doing wills or trusts or transferring property, or just may be involved in the legal system and have to sign a motion to get their kids back, or to enforce a parenting time order, or whatever it may be. So just so you know, there are safe procedures in place for those notarizations to take place pursuant to this order by the governor that she signed last night at 8:32 p.m. And we'll post this on our website at www.kdlawgroup.com as soon as we can. And we are able to notarize. Both myself and Carly are both notaries. So if you do need it, we don't charge for it. We're happy to help you out. And with that in mind, I kind of talk about Carly every day, but tomorrow, Carly, who is not only a lawyer, but also has an MBA and a lot of experience in the business world, as far as legal drafting and things like that. She will be doing the live cast tomorrow on wills and trusts and estate planning. We hope to make it a Q&A format. If you have any questions right now, you can email them to her at Carly, C-A-R-L-Y, at kdlawgroup.com, or you can feel free to send them through Facebook Messenger, or just put them on our Kirsch Daskas Facebook page, so that we're prepared for you tomorrow. And she will be hosting that tomorrow, and hopefully that will give you some valuable information and a forum to ask all the things that you're wondering about. With that in mind, anybody have any questions about today, about other things? The hailstorm has stopped as far as the weather goes, and so maybe the rest of the day will get sunny for us. Okay, so as we end every day with the number one, it's actually the number 5 of the 5 reasons not to harm your loved ones during quarantine is because very few people look good in horizontal orange stripes. And with that, I hope that you are all well and healthy and stay home. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, Carly, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Have a great day.